Hey everybody, Pastor Dave here. I am putting this little video together here so we have just like a little confirmation session zero, so to speak, kind of just a little explanation and to set some expectations as to what we're doing for confirmation this year. We're going to try something a little bit different. Last year on Pentecost, we had 3 7th graders and 3 8th graders that affirmed their baptism. And some of those kids had been putting up with me and my lessons and all of the lecturing and talking for like 4 years. So specifically shout out to Logan Malloy, my own child. He survived, but we'll have to wait and see what the long-term effects are. No, since I've been here, we've had I guess 4 confirmation classes. We've confirmed or we've been present for the baptismal affirmations of 17 of our youth. But this year we're going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to be recording short video lessons, kind of like this. There might be some visual aids, or who knows what it'll turn into as this thing evolves. But this is going to be in lieu of traditional classroom training or formal classroom settings. This also opens it up. If there's kids that are maybe in a different scope or in a different place in their life and they just want to follow along with this and they feel like they'd like to affirm their baptism, they might get in on this. But we're going to try it and just kind of see where it goes. And there's several reasons for this. Number one, even when I was in seminary, and I was in seminary with people that were a lot smarter than me or had different experience than me, some of them actually came from with their educational backgrounds, not just formal secular education backgrounds, but they've been teaching confirmation and youth for 10 or 15 years. And then they say, oh, shucks, I'm supposed to be a pastor or a deacon. So we had several conversations with a lot of people, and the consensus was this confirmation thing, or the way we've always done it, is kind of broken, and we can do it better. And historically, I've heard a lot of those stories where people said, "Oh, it was 3 hours every Saturday, and then after 2 or 3 years, you have to stand up in front of the congregation, and anybody could throw any question at you they wanted to." And it was probably rather traumatizing. And there's something to be said for that. But I know there's people that went through that process that maybe didn't retain a whole lot of information. They absorbed some of it out of sheer fear and then buried it away. So who knows? Maybe those folks will get something out of these too. But I think this is going to open it up for people who are maybe on a different path, or just they're feeling God calling to them in a new way, to start listening and learning, and maybe we'll reach a wider audience than just the 17 souls that affirm their baptism in the past 4 years. It's also going to put a little more onus on the parents and sponsors and confirmands and whoever watches these to have and to take a little bit more active role in their formation. Now, clearly, faith formation, the number one place where we do all faith formation is in worship on Sunday mornings, whether that's here at St. John's or wherever you worship. And that's where all the learning and the way God shapes us always kind of comes into and through and out of that point every week. So whether or not the person watching these videos is going to come and worship with us, or if they worship somewhere else, that is still the main place that our faith is shaped. It'll be shaped by the world, but once it's shaped, we have to bring it somewhere so that God can form it into something even better and more useful for God's purposes and God's plan. The lessons, what I envision, will be rather short, maybe 5 to 15 minutes. There's probably going to be a little bit of scripture reading or some other bit of information that I'll share, and then a little bit of teaching like this, hopefully not just rambling on like I'm doing right now. But we'll just have to see how this grows, and as I grow and evolve as a teacher and content producer, what comes of it. And each of the sessions will probably have a few questions to consider at the end or as we're going through them, stuff to ponder, stuff to have conversations over. And people can watch these videos together. So if it's a parent and a child and they've never had these conversations, the parent doesn't have to worry like, oh, shucks, I'm not really an expert on this. They can kind of learn together and have these conversations together. And it can be anywhere. It can be on the road, hopefully not driving and watching a video, but you can listen to it in a car before a baseball or volleyball or softball or football or whatever game or whatever activity that you're going to, or you could watch it in your kitchen or wherever, because the way this church thing works, the way God set it out originally, before we even had a Bible, people were talking about Jesus and sharing their stories in kitchens and in marketplaces and in fields and on the road, just walking and talking and having conversations together. So even though we could say, well, we've never done it this way, or we've always done it a different way, and this might end up feeling like a different way, well, it's kind of the genuine way that God's always done it. And we can trust that God will always continue to do it, because that's who God is. God can't help being God, shaping us and loving us. So that's all I got. If anybody has any questions, I don't have any to close with for pondering this week, but if anybody has any questions, you can reach out to me directly, either call or email. I'll probably put those somewhere in a video if I ever figure out how to do that. Or just reach out to me when you see me and say, that was really good, Pastor Dave. Even if it wasn't, you can say that. No, I'm kidding. I always appreciate the truth. All good critique and feedback helps us grow. God's peace. We'll see ya.